Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to be one step ahead, while others remain stuck in mediocrity? Is the secret to surpassing anyone rooted in strength, intelligence, or perhaps something much deeper? Niccolò Machiavelli, in his masterpiece The Prince, revealed a truth that has echoed through the centuries. Power and success don't belong to the strongest but to the most strategic. He wrote, "Men judge more by their eyes than by their hands." That's exactly what we'll explore today. How understanding and applying the rules of life's game can put you in an unbeatable position. The purpose of this video is simple, yet powerful. To show how 8 timeless principles from Machiavelli not only explain the dynamics of power, but also how they can be applied to your life to overcome anyone, in any situation. Get ready, because the path we're about to take is like seeing the world without filters, and understanding that, at its core, winning is a matter of choice and strategy. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that survival, whether on the battlefield or in the games of power, relied on one essential skill: adapting to change. In The Prince, he states, "He who wishes to achieve constant success must change his conduct with the times." But what does that mean in practice? And how can this ability put you one step ahead of everyone else? Adaptability is more than simply reacting to circumstances. It is the ability to anticipate change, adjust strategies, and find strength amid chaos. Consider the story of species like the chameleon, which camouflages itself to stay protected and capture prey. Its survival isn't guaranteed by physical strength, but by its flexibility to adapt to its environment. Many people cling rigidly to a plan or idea, expecting the world around them to adjust to their vision. They enter saturated markets, persist with outdated methods, or hold on to toxic relationships out of fear of change. On the other hand, those who master adaptability stand out because they understand that success demands constant movement. Take, for example, one of the greatest business transformations of the 21st century, Netflix's evolution. Initially, it operated as a DVD rental service by mail, a simple but limited business model. When technology began to change rapidly, what could have spelled the company's demise became its greatest opportunity. Netflix embraced video streaming, invested in original content, and adapted to the public's new demands. Today, it is a global giant, while former rental giants like Blockbuster, which resisted change, have disappeared. Adapting isn't just about business. It's about outpacing anyone in any area of life. Take relationships, for instance. Some people insist on imposing their own rules even when the situation calls for empathy or compromise. They grow frustrated when the relationship falls apart, but rarely ask themselves, "What could I have done differently?" The truth is, those who master the art of adjusting to the needs of the moment will always have the upper hand, whether in love, work, or personal disputes. How can you apply this today? First, let go of a fixed mindset. Accept that the world around you is constantly changing, and resisting it will only leave you behind. Second, be curious. Learn new skills, even if they feel outside your comfort zone. Finally, pay attention to the signs of change. Don't wait for circumstances to force you to adapt. Stay ahead of them. Remember, surpassing others isn't about being stronger or faster, but about being more agile. Those who master the art of adaptability are like water. They can flow in any direction, overcoming obstacles and achieving their goals. As Bruce Lee said, "Be like water, my friend." Have you ever stopped to think about the relationship between respect and power? Sometimes it's not as simple as it seems. It may sound a bit cold or even harsh, but the truth is that in many situations, the respect people have for you doesn't come solely from admiration or liking you. It's about how you position yourself, the firmness of your decisions, and the way you handle relationships. This is what Machiavelli meant in one of his most controversial statements: "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." What Machiavelli teaches us is that to surpass others, you need to find a balance between fear and love. This balance is the foundation of any effective leadership, whether at work, in relationships, or in social settings. If you're only loved, you risk being underestimated or even disrespected. On the other hand, if you're only feared, you may find yourself isolated as people avoid cooperating with you. The key lies in harmonizing these two extremes. Fear doesn't mean you should intimidate people. Instead, it's about setting clear boundaries and demonstrating that there are consequences for a lack of respect or commitment. A modern example of this is Steve Jobs' leadership style. He wasn't known for being the kindest or most charismatic boss. In fact, many of his employees feared him. But they also deeply respected him because they understood that his vision and high standards were driven by a commitment to excellence. This fear of disappointing him pushed Apple to create groundbreaking products like the iPhone and iMac. And what about the role of love? In this context, love refers to the emotional connection you build with people. When people feel that you care about them and value their contributions, they become loyal and dedicated. Take leaders like Nelson Mandela, for example. He managed to unite a country devastated by apartheid, earning both respect and affection through empathy and steadfastness. Now ask yourself, which of these two pillars do you tend to rely on more in your life? Some people have a natural inclination to be loved. They are warm, generous, and pleasant. That's wonderful, but without a measure of firmness, they may come across as fragile or easily manipulated. Others prefer to be feared, imposing authority with an iron fist. This approach works to a certain extent but can drive away valuable allies. Start by setting clear boundaries. People need to know what you will and will not tolerate. This lays the groundwork for respect. Next, show empathy and recognition whenever possible. Demonstrate that you value others' contributions without compromising your own standards or expectations. For example, imagine you're leading a team at work. A team member delivers a project that falls short of expectations. If you respond with excessive kindness, they might think quality doesn't matter. If you react with excessive harshness, you risk demotivating them or even creating resentment. Instead, you can combine both principles. Be firm about the mistake, but offer support to help them improve in the future. In your personal life, this applies as well. Many relationships fail because one person tries to always be agreeable, avoiding conflict at all costs. However, conflicts, when managed wisely, can strengthen bonds. The key is to communicate your expectations while also showing understanding. Being feared and loved are not opposing forces but complementary ones. When you master this balance, you become someone people respect but also admire. And that, in any context, is a significant step towards standing out and surpassing others. This is one of the most well-known principles of his work, and the most incredible part is that it can help you outshine anyone when you truly need to. Machiavelli wrote, "A leader must be both a fox to recognize traps and a lion to scare off wolves." But what does this really mean? Have you ever imagined how this principle could make a difference in your life? The fox represents strategic intelligence, the ability to identify threats and opportunities before they materialize. The lion, on the other hand, symbolizes strength and the courage to act decisively when necessary. Individually, each of these traits has its limitations, but together they create an unbeatable combination. The fox's cunning lies in its ability to observe the environment and notice details others overlook. In practice, this means developing your emotional, strategic, and analytical intelligence. For instance, in a professional setting, the fox is the one who understands office power dynamics, discerns hidden intentions among colleagues, and anticipates problems before they escalate into crises. Take Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter, now X, as an example. Many doubted his decision and saw it as impulsive. However, Musk acted like a true fox by recognizing an undervalued market, identifying the platform's weaknesses, and positioning himself strategically. He spotted the trap, the collapse of a major social media platform, and turned it into an opportunity to expand his influence. On the other hand, being a fox without the lion's courage can be dangerous. You may identify problems and opportunities, but without action, all of that insight is useless. The lion represents the willpower, determination, and bravery required to make tough decisions and face challenges head-on. A striking example is the legendary Muhammad Ali. He was as cunning as a fox when analyzing his opponent's fighting styles, yet as relentless as a lion when challenging stronger boxers and proving his superiority in the ring. The union of these two elements made him not just a champion, but a legend. Now, how can you use this combination to outshine anyone? The first step is developing self-awareness. Ask yourself, do I have more fox-like traits or lion-like traits? Some people are naturally more strategic and reserved, while others are impulsive and combative. To master this principle, you need to balance both sides. For example, in a professional conflict, acting solely as a lion, directly confronting a colleague or boss, can create resentment or harm your reputation. On the other hand, being just a fox, analyzing the situation without taking action, can make you appear weak or indifferent. The ideal approach is to carefully plan your strategy and execute it with determination and confidence. Another important aspect is knowing when to use each trait. Machiavelli reminds us that not every situation calls for brute force, just as not every problem can be solved with diplomacy alone. The key is to discern the right moment. For instance, in negotiations, you often need to start as a fox, reading body language, understanding the other party's interests, before assuming the lion's stance to seal the deal. Those who can be both fox and lion at different times have a decisive advantage over others. They not only identify their opponent's weaknesses, but also know when and how to exploit them. This combination creates a sense of unpredictability. one of the greatest assets for standing out in any field. The fox and the lion don't compete with each other, they work in harmony, each complementing the other's limitations. In the game of power, this duality is the key not only to survival, but to thriving. This principle touches on one of life's most uncomfortable yet unavoidable truths. People judge based on what they see, not on what they deeply know. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few know what you really are." To surpass others, mastering the art of appearances is crucial. We live in a world where perception often outweighs reality. Imagine a leader who is extremely competent but presents themselves in an insecure or careless manner. No matter how great their ideas are, they are unlikely to be taken seriously. On the other hand, someone who exudes confidence and authority, even without possessing much skill, can be perceived as a figure of power. This isn't about being fake or dishonestly manipulating others, but understanding that your external image influences how people interact with you. In a competitive world, the way you present yourself, visually, verbally, and emotionally, determines your initial impact. Machiavelli understood that controlling others' perceptions was a form of power. It starts with something simple: posture and presence. Imagine two individuals entering a room. One walks in with slouched shoulders, avoiding eye contact, while the other strides in confidently, making direct eye contact. Who would you respect more? Neglecting your image can leave room for others to underestimate or ignore you. No matter how skilled you are, if others don't perceive your value, your opportunities will be limited. The art of appearances also extends to behavior. Demonstrating confidence, for instance, doesn't mean being arrogant. It means standing firm in your opinions and actions. Machiavelli reminds us that confidence is like an invisible armor, something that attracts allies and repels enemies. Think about it. What are you projecting to the world? Have you ever stopped to consider how people see you? Do you convey confidence, organization, and competence, or do you come across as uncertain and insecure? A sincere self-assessment is the first step toward an incredible transformation. Now, let's talk about communication. The way you speak, the tone you use, and even how you listen to others can change everything. Well-chosen words and a confident posture make all the difference. You can feel the authority just by listening. And there's more. Context is everything. In a formal meeting, maintaining a serious and strategic demeanor is important. But in a casual conversation, a lighter tone might be the key. You know that gut feeling of knowing how to adapt to the moment? It's a superpower that opens doors. Controlling how others perceive you isn't manipulation. It's strategy. By mastering your own narrative, you prevent others from dictating how you should be seen. This doesn't mean being perfect all the time. It means managing the aspects you want to highlight. People don't always have the time to uncover who you truly are. They judge based on what's visible. When you master the power of appearances, you not only avoid being underestimated, but also position yourself as someone worthy of respect and attention. Machiavelli reminds us with surgical wisdom, never attempt to win by force what can be won by strategy. This idea encapsulates the essence of refined power, where the mind triumphs over muscle and cunning prevails over brute strength. To overcome anyone, it is essential to understand that lasting victory does not come from direct imposition, but from calculated moves. In a direct confrontation, brute force may offer quick wins, but these victories are rarely sustainable. Think of someone who tries to win an argument by shouting louder or imposing their authority. In the short term, it might work, but over time it breeds resentment, damages relationships, and eventually isolates the person. The same is true in the world of business and politics. Companies that try to crush smaller competitors with aggressive tactics often face legal repercussions, reputational damage, or resistance movements. On the other hand, those who carefully plan their actions create advantages that others cannot predict or counter. Imagine you're in the middle of a conflict with a coworker. If you directly confront them head-on, it might escalate into a clash that benefits neither of you, right? But what if you took a step back and acted more strategically? For instance, understanding what they truly want, finding common ground, and perhaps proposing a solution that works for both sides. By doing this, not only would you resolve the issue, but you'd also earn a reputation as someone who leads with intelligence and balance. Similarly, in negotiations, brute force might mean stubbornly insisting on your point of view, while strategy involves understanding the other party's needs and leveraging that to achieve your goals. Force may win a battle, but strategy wins the war. There's no way a strategy can work without good preparation, right? This is where many people get lost. They walk into challenging situations without truly understanding the terrain or who they're up against. First, gather as much information as you can. Knowing who or what you're dealing with is half the battle. Knowledge is power. Then, think like a chess player. What's the other side's next move? How can you anticipate it and stay one step ahead? Finally, Focus on efficiency. Use the least amount of resources to achieve the maximum impact. Why waste energy on unnecessary conflicts when you can achieve the same result in a smarter, more elegant way? Those who understand the value of strategy over brute force not only win, but do so in ways others can't even comprehend. This creates a powerful psychological advantage. You're not just seen as a strong competitor, but as someone unpredictable and difficult to face. It's not about avoiding force entirely. There are times when it's necessary, but true power lies in knowing when and how to use it, prioritizing strategy as your first line of attack. After all, force can tear down walls, but strategy builds bridges. And in the end, those who build bridges always go further. Look at what Machiavelli once said: "The wise man does at once what the fool puts off until later." This phrase perfectly captures how time can be one of your greatest assets. In the game of power, it's not just about what you do, but when you do it. How many times do we miss opportunities because we hesitate too much, or on the flip side, rush and end up making mistakes? If you truly want to stand out, you need to learn how to use time to your advantage. Make it your #1 ally, and you'll see how everything starts to flow more smoothly. Mastering time doesn't just mean acting quickly. It means acting at the right moment. This requires patience to wait for the ideal occasion and courage to seize it when it arrives. Many people fail not because they lack talent or skill, but because they can't synchronize their actions with the rhythm of events. Take a negotiation, for example. If you push too hard too soon, you might come across as desperate and weaken your position. On the other hand, if you wait too long, you could lose the other party's interest. Mastering time means finding the balance between urgency and patience, ensuring that your actions have maximum impact. One of the biggest mistakes people make is putting off important decisions. "I'll start tomorrow." How many times have you heard or said this? Procrastination is the silent killer of potential. The problem isn't just the delay itself, but the domino effect. By postponing something, you might miss future opportunities that depended on that initial action. For instance, imagine you have the chance to learn a new skill that will be essential for your career. If you procrastinate, you may find that others have mastered it before you, seizing the opportunities that could have been yours. The wise act today, not tomorrow. On the other hand, quick and well-planned action is one of the greatest strategic advantages you can have. Being the first to identify a trend or respond to a change can put you miles ahead of the competition. As Machiavelli suggests, wisdom lies in anticipating what others have yet to notice. Mastering time in practice is a game-changing skill. First, you need to learn to pick up on signals. The right moment to act is almost never obvious, so being attentive to details and analyzing your surroundings makes all the difference. It's like tuning a radar. The more you observe, the easier it becomes to identify when conditions are favorable. Additionally, patience is essential. Acting at the wrong time can be just as harmful as not acting at all, so it's important to know how to wait for the right opportunity without letting the wait paralyze you. Last but not least, courage is crucial. Many hesitate out of fear of making mistakes, but trusting your preparation is what sets you apart. When the moment comes, even if you don't have all the certainties, take the step. Because in the end, those who dare to act are the ones who make a difference. Machiavelli teaches us that those who master time also master power. Knowing when to act is like having a compass in a desert. While others wander aimlessly, you move forward with purpose. If you want to surpass anyone, talent and skills alone are not enough. You need to align your actions with the right moment. In the game of life, time is relentless. It waits for no one but rewards those who know how to use it wisely. As the saying goes, lost time is never recovered. In the end, those who master time master the world. Have you noticed that the most powerful people are always surrounded by incredible individuals? This is no coincidence. The quality of your connection says a lot about you, and it's one of the most valuable secrets to surpass anyone. No one achieves anything significant alone. If you want to accomplish more, you need a strong network by your side, trusted allies, sharp strategists, and people who push you forward. This is how you gain strength, influence those around you, and turn plans into achievements. Machiavelli stated, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." Today, networks of influence are much more than just contacts or friendships. They reveal a great deal about who you are and the impact you can have on the world. When you choose to surround yourself with visionary, intelligent, and competent people, you automatically demonstrate that you're someone trustworthy and capable of making things happen. After all, the quality of the people around you directly reflects your own potential. Machiavelli warns us that having allies isn't enough. You must choose those who genuinely contribute to your growth. Surrounding yourself with flatterers or individuals of questionable character can lead to ruin. Valuable allies don't just agree with you, they challenge your ideas, offer new perspectives, and strengthen your strategy. Building a network is only the beginning. Maintaining it requires emotional intelligence, empathy, and reciprocity. Often people miss opportunities because they fail to nurture their connections. They seek help only when they're in need, without offering value in return. However, the true strength of a network lies in the continuous exchange of support and benefits. To illustrate, think about how successful entrepreneurs keep their networks active. They don't just reach out to their partners during times of crisis. They make it a point to celebrate achievements, offer support, and even share lessons learned. This approach builds trust and strengthens bonds over time. Just as building a strong network is essential, it's equally crucial to identify and eliminate negative influences. Machiavelli warns us that evil men have the habit of attracting other evil men. Therefore, being mindful of the intentions and character of those around you is key to safeguarding your reputation and goals. Imagine a soccer player who associates with untrustworthy people or those solely focused on parties and distractions. He may have talent, but his career will suffer from a lack of focus and poor decisions. Similarly, in the workplace or any project, being surrounded by toxic individuals drains energy and reduces your chances of success. Managing your circle of influence in practice is about being intentional with the people around you. First, it's important to choose wisely. Take a look at who is part of your life and consider how each person contributes to your goals. Don't hesitate to distance yourself from influences that don't add value or even hold you back. Next, remember that valuable connections don't happen by chance. They require effort. Invest time and energy in building meaningful relationships, and whenever possible, aim to bring value to these people's lives as well. And of course, be strategic. Reflect on who can help you grow or who has skills and connections that complement your own. A well-built network not only empowers you, but also opens doors you may never have imagined. The strength of a well-managed network lies in its ability to open doors that would otherwise remain closed. The difference between those who thrive and those who stay stagnant often comes down to who they have by their side. As the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely and nurture these relationships with intelligence and authenticity. After all, no one succeeds alone, but those who know how to join forces with the right people are practically unstoppable. If you really want to stand out and surpass others, you need to step out of your comfort zone and abandon the idea of simply maintaining the status quo. Great achievements don't come from playing it safe. They come from having the courage to make bold decisions that create real impact. It's about being willing to innovate, take calculated risks, and blaze new trails, even if it challenges what's considered normal. As Machiavelli once said, "I am not interested in preserving the status quo. I want to overthrow it." Most people prefer the comfort of stability. They avoid change because they fear the unknown, staying trapped in familiar patterns, even when those patterns no longer work. However, those who achieve greatness understand that every significant decision requires both courage and vision. Maintaining the status quo may seem like a safe choice, but in reality, it's one of the most dangerous decisions you can make. Stagnation breeds vulnerability. While you remain still, your competitors move forward, the world changes, and opportunities slip away. The same principle applies to personal life. How many times have you seen talented people who never reached their potential because they were afraid to take risks? They stay in unfulfilling jobs, toxic relationships, or comfort zones because they believe the familiar is safer than the unknown. Making transformative decisions doesn't mean acting impulsively or without planning. On the contrary, Machiavelli teaches us that risk must be calculated. The goal is not to leap into the unknown, but to carefully assess the possibilities, prepare for challenges, and then act with conviction. Making decisions that truly transform starts with evaluating the consequences. Before taking the next step, it's important to consider possible scenarios, both the benefits and the risks involved. Then, trust your vision. Game-changing decisions almost always challenge common sense, and yes, they may provoke doubts and criticism. But if you've done your analysis and feel you're on the right path, let your intuition guide you. Finally, act decisively. Hesitation only gets in the way once the choice is made. After evaluating everything and deciding, dive in head first and commit to your choice. That's what makes all the difference. Machiavelli understood that leadership and power are not built on maintaining the status quo, but on transformation. Whether it's in your career, relationships, or personal life, making bold decisions shows courage and ambition, qualities that inspire respect and admiration. The world doesn't belong to those who play it safe. It belongs to those who dare to dream big, challenge norms, and create something new. The question you should ask yourself is not, "What if I fail?" but rather, "What do I stand to lose if I never try?" Ultimately, surpassing others isn't about empty competition. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, using every opportunity and decision to grow and transform your reality. As Machiavelli taught us, power lies in action, and action is what separates leaders from followers. I want to thank you for making it this far, for investing your time and attention in reflecting on how to become a better, more strategic, and more confident person. This script isn't just about Machiavelli, it's about you, about your potential to transform your life and achieve what you may have thought was impossible until now. If I can share something personal, it's that applying these principles changed my own journey. There were moments when I felt stuck, insecure, or even defeated, but it was by understanding that power lies in strategic choices, both big and small, that I began to see results. And that's what I hope you take with you, the certainty that the power to overcome isn't outside of you. It's within. If this video brought you any inspiration, now it's your turn to act. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment about which principle resonated most with you, and share this content with someone you want to see grow alongside you. Oh, and just so you know, Machiavelli would approve. He knew that good ideas should be spread like seeds in the wind. Stay tuned, because in the next video, we'll explore another secret of power that you might have never noticed before. Want to know what it is? You'll have to watch. See you there.